Today I want to give you a walkthrough with the Notion template that I'm working with to sort of manage the video project for my next short film. Alright, so we're on my personal dashboard. This is kind of where I start off with everything, just because I just have better access to pretty much everything all at once. I've been kind of modifying the layout, and right here is this is the area in which I've been managing my content creation as of late, especially with the micro short films. I actually just separated this yesterday. These are like the ones I'm brainstorming, and then these are projects that are currently in production or at least planning. So we're gonna jump in. I was thinking about kind of recreating this from scratch, but I'm just gonna show you an overview of what I have so far. So this is the short doc that I'm kind of in the process working on now. The working title is Who We Are: Expression Through Decor. And since Notion had updated this like customization layout, which is listed right here, actually what I'm going to do is open this up so we can get a full view of everything. And I guess I'm going to jump into this really briefly. So now it gives me the option to kind of have this section to work with, as well as these different tabs that I can modify, and each tab is going to have their own set of content at the bottom. It used to be that all of these properties would show up in this long list before you get to the actual content that you want to work on. Now it's all tucked away to the side, and as I move forward I can decide to kind of pull some of these out into some of these tabs and whatnot. But for now, this little, I forgot what they call this, but we'll just, for lack of better terms, this will be just a tab section. This will be what kind of a bird's eye view, kind of the status that I'm at currently. When I get closer to working on some of the bulk of this project, I'll have an actual published date. I can see the progress and percentage, as well as status. The URL, this was more so for a different necessity, more so for my vlog videos, because as soon as I finish the vlog video, I just kind of set up everything on Notion afterwards. So it's not relevant now. My tabs, these are actually called tabs, and my content, which is kind of where I want to start off. This is the template button that I use. So within this button, I have all of the tasks that I usually do when creating a video. It required me to confirm I want to continue so I don't make a mistake. Each task has their own set of information, the duration, then the order of operation, and various things that kind of establish what that task is for. But I'm gonna actually show you this where it shows up. So that's, I leave that here, and I have it, this red box means that it's linked. So every iteration of a template that I set up, I'm gonna have the same button, and they're linked because as I'm moving on and learning and trying new things, I want to be able to modify and update this as I go. I may be able to work this into this template a little more, because now this customized layout retroactively applies the same layout to previous instances, previous projects, which is something new for Notion to be able to do for database templates. All right, so now I'm going to jump into the all tasks to see what that button does. So once I click that button, this is the entire set of tasks that will pop up for each project. I'm playing with the arrangement of properties. So right now, I'm actually kind of taking advantage of this Kanban state. This is a sort of status for each task. This idea kind of got from Thomas Frank. This entire database of all tasks is a template that he offers for free at the moment. I don't use it too often, but with this project, I'm doing a lot of this stuff kind of from day to day. I'm not just getting it done in one session. So right now, I know that I'm working on filming some B-roll because we're making multiple visits to the house, and the project's unfolding. So I have that set to doing, but I do know that I've already finished writing, finished planning, and curating music and stuff for the project. So I usually work with just the check marks, and normally I would have this set up or filtered to where once this is checked, it's out of the way. But I'm going to leave it here because I kind of like to see that visual progress of what I have done so far versus what I have to do left. And that's pretty much all this page is doing. These tabs, I'm not looking to have them each having 1,000 different things. I really want to keep my Notion as simplified as possible, especially because you can do so much. You can fall into the trap of over complicating it. I don't want to do that. I want to keep things simple. And so now we're going to jump into the video shot list. This is a template. This is a database I kind of built myself. I'm not sure. Some of the titles and properties I may want to tweak later on, but just to kind of show you what is listed there, because each of these, I'll say for the all tasks, this is pretty much encompassing properties for all kinds of different templates and databases and all that. But the video shot list is very concise. So normally if I'm writing a scripted project, I'm going to have the chapter or scene. So like scene 1, scene 2, etc. I don't have it filled right now because I'm kind of just getting some ideas of what types of shots I want to do. But I think as I get these shots together, I'll end up kind of curating and organizing in pre-production like how each are going to be laid out. Next, I have the action. This is kind of discussing what the subject is and what they're doing. I have the camera action, which is more so focused on what the camera is trying to see. So just focus on subjects. This is sort of like a secondary camera action. So we focus on the items that we'll be playing with. Next, I have the type of camera that I'll be using. A lot of times I'm using my phone camera, and I used to use a second Canon. So I have different ways in which this shot is being captured. Next, the next few things, and I actually need to reorder this, but the distance and focal length, these are very specific or particular to the camera composition and lens work. So for most of these shots can be medium distance, but I can do close or far away, and pairing that with the medium, long, and wide, this will actually inform me on what kind of lens I need to work on or work with. I also have the frame rate, most of which can be 24 frames, but behind the scenes, it's gonna be 30 frames. I'll kind of navigate that as I go. Next, we have location. So these talking head shots are going to be interior inside the house, and all the behind the scenes are kind of be everywhere. For the style, this may need to be worded differently, but it pretty much informs me what approach I'm doing, whether I'm doing a stagnant shot with a tripod, or if I'm putting on a stabilizer or just my rig. This project used to be relevant, but that's not relevant at the moment. This doesn't need to be here, but this is pretty much is one of those relations. So this is actually the template has this filtered to where each of these shot list tasks, so to say, are associated with this particular page on this database, and that is where this is referencing. Doesn't need to show up though, because I don't need to see that. But once I am finished shooting these different things, I'll be able to check them off as I go. Then jumping back to the content page, this is not relevant. I kind of set this up really briefly, but I haven't used it myself. But what I started doing was kind of separating some of the tasks or the sections that I usually have in the main database. And just to kind of show what this was used for, one I guess service that I use is Pexels. I've contributed some content, some photos and stuff here. It's free to download. It's kind of an option. It pretty much gives you the option to donate if you want to or able to. But let's say I actually want to utilize this mood board, which I haven't done yet. So I know that this is about furniture and decor. So what I've been doing is I'll go here and let me actually look at something specific. Okay, so I have boho furniture because this is the style that we're going for. So let's say I wanted to use this picture just as a reference. What I'll do is get a screenshot, a screen snip, and I'll come over here and as instructed, drop the images there. And this is kind of how I've been spending time curating stills. Is not necessarily for the composition, more so just the vibes. So that's kind of where all the vibes are going to be sitting. This shot list is pretty much that now. The writing checklist, I haven't really dabbled with myself. Some of these I have to kind of work on as I go, but the main thing that's going to sit on this content page is my script, because I want to be able to come to this relatively quickly. I want to be able to kind of see very quickly what I've been working on so far. I kind of started jotting down ideas of what I'm going to be shooting, and then since this is a documentary and stuff, I do have like a template of interview questions, but that's on my Remarkable tablet, which I can't really connect to Notion in any kind of way. So those two different platforms. So this is pretty much this is the bulk of it. This is what I'm working with now with my video projects. So that's the whole of it. I'm still kind of in a transition process because I had a separate database that was for projects, not just video projects, but it was a project database from Thomas Frank. This content database was from a different YouTuber. So at two different platforms, two different sources or templates that I utilize for video. The projects database was more so for like client projects. So some of the tasks and things were a little more curated towards a deliverable towards a client. Since I'm not doing client work at the moment, I kind of wanted to make sure that all my personal or passion projects are done through the content database. And I think I might possibly look into creating a separate template for some of the bigger projects, the actual films versus my vlogs, because they kind of have the same, they each have the same setup right now. It's not crucial, you know. Like I said before, Notion is about the journey, not the destination. You're never really going to be fully satisfied, because as you constantly grow and develop as a creator, as a filmmaker, as somebody who's just learning, you're going to find new ways to execute some of the same things. And then Notion itself is always improving on itself. A lot of these things were not feasible a year or two ago. It would take a lot more finagling and coding and all that kind of stuff just to get some of the stuff that we're getting now. If this is the first video you've seen about Notion, it's probably the wrong video to start with. I'd recommend going to Thomas Frank. I'm gonna always recommend that for each of these Notion videos, because it is a fully he has a fully comprehensive platform, all kinds of resources, and he gets to the finite details regarding formulas, regarding databases. He keeps up to date with all the new features and all that. So I always want to recommend going there, but I do like to show here what I'm doing and how Notion is working for me. Because if you are an avid Notion user, or if you haven't used Notion, this may serve as an inspiration on what you might be able to do with some of your upcoming video projects. So I do hope this was helpful. If it was, please drop a comment below. I want to know who all is actually using Notion currently, specifically for filmmaking projects. Shout out to y'all. I hope to see y'all in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Deuces.